Hey everyone, welcome to the first edition of an as yet untitled UK Black and White Player podcast. My name's Peng.
Yeah, I'm MeEsSm, also a UK black and white player as well, and today we got Cal as a special guest who is also
Hello,
from the
everyone.
UK.
Yeah, unsure if Cal's going to be a permanent fixture or if he's just a one-off so far.
Hopefully
This is
permanent, but
this is his test.
Yeah, trial
Uh,
run.
yeah, so we've been joking about doing this for a while, about the idea that I don't know, we sit in like VC quite a lot. We're like quite often voice chat, and we just sort of think if we just recorded this, it would probably make for like decent like YouTube content. Because there's like nothing on YouTube for like Gen 5 stuff outside like the occasional, Kevin video.
Yeah.
Those are just kind of like moaning about stuff. So we thought we'd just kind of actually maybe give a go at this. Not sure how many we'll do, but the idea is to have me and MeEsSm, maybe Cal, and then just invite some like known black and white players to shoot the shit about various topics. Not only black and white Pokemon. I think we've we also find the idea of using this as a chance to educate people on like British culture. Um, I find that idea really funny. So today we'll sort of start off with some black and white content. Pivot very briefly to British TV from when me and MeEsSm were growing up.
educate me a little bit on it as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
some of the stuff before your time.
Yeah, exactly.
iconic TV shows, and then end with some more black and white stuff again. So, is that good to you guys?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, we were speaking in the black and white Discord earlier about what people would kind of, want to hear about and things like that. And it seemed to be quite requested on covering, just the meta at a glance at the moment, because there's the resources and things like that, but also secondly, there's a lot of new trends going on in the meta right now. Some which have been about a while, but some are a little bit more prominent than others at the minute. Is there any that, you guys are seeing right now?
I think the first thing at the moment is there's a lot of Alakazam at the moment, especially Life Orb. We've seen it quite a lot, especially in the current black and white PL.
Hmm.
There's a lot of players at the moment that are using it a lot, and even in Invitational, we've seen quite a few players bring it. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but
Yeah, some just that one because you got the standard. Why it's maybe better than Sash at the moment. I know that's a bit of a stretch because Sash is still amazing, but
yeah,
you don't tend to have to rely on Focus Blast as much, and you can utilize things like Grass Knot to like cleanly two hit KO Tar coming in, and puts the game a little bit more in your hands. Although it does have the drawback of being weaker to certain Scarf Landerer structures as well.
I think it also exploits at the moment the lack of Scarf Latios we're seeing.
Mm,
Because you used to see a lot of Scarf Latios, and it's usually pretty good into, or not into, but revenge killing
yeah.
Life Orb Alakazam. But
I
at the
know.
moment, you're not really seeing that.
Yeah, I
Sorry,
know.
go on.
Peng's still a bit of a Scarf Latios believer, aren't you, Peng?
Like I don't use it a lot. I sometimes I think it is still like the best option. It is like it's the worst Latio set, but you can say that for like everything that runs Scarf.
Yeah. No, I know.
It's
Of like
just
two.
versus like quite a lot of stuff. Like
Yeah, but I still think like look, I think even if all it does is like trick a Ferrothorn turn one, and then just gets played like a Colbert Latios, I think that's
Mm,
also like
mhm.
absolutely fine.
it's all right. Yeah.
Um, yeah. Yeah, I think Life Orb Dam's a really good shout for stuff that's obviously seen tons of usage. I think that's pretty clearly a response to like it's mental to think back like only like 6 months ago we were suspect testing Reuniclus, right?
Jesus.
Yeah,
And now kind of not really people aren't really talking about it again, and like it got nowhere close to a ban vote, and then all of a sudden like everyone's like, yeah, it's fine. And part of that's just because like really big wall breakers have just seemed to make a comeback again.
Hmm.
The meta game seems to like shift very. It doesn't change like a huge amount, but it seems to shift like slightly more offensive, and then like certain stalls get worked out, and they kind of pop everywhere. So like yeah, up until about 6 months ago, like Clef for Uniclus stuff was
Yeah,
yeah.
it
kind
was
of
everywhere. You couldn't escape it.
yeah. And those teams are literally like 6 Pokemon slower than Alakazam and no pursuit. So you
Yeah.
just like like Life Orb Zam just absolutely trucks them, especially like Psyshock says. Yeah, like for my list of trends, like it's all stuff that's like punishing Uniclus builds. It's all people seeing Uniclus get a suspect and then go, okay, can't afford to be bad against that. What can I kind of use?
Yeah.
And again, I don't think it has made Uniclus bad all of a sudden, but I don't think it's really suspect worthy right
Yeah,
now.
it's
Again,
also quite
considering
limited on what structures it can fit on as well, right? Whereas Zam, you can just pair it with spikes on most sand teams, whether that be hyper offense or the fatter ones, and it can start going to town. Reuniclus seems to require some more specific support.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I still think you can still run it, obviously, but I do think teams are trending a bit more offensive again. So Life Orb Zam's a really good shout. It's also like obviously really strong into the thing with Life Orb Zam is it seems to have very few bad matchups.
Yeah,
Uh,
Yeah.
so it's really good into Fat, especially if you got Psyshock. It's really good into Rain. And into Weatherless, it's just like a KO machine. Like you can EV it to take a Sizzle Bullet Punch and HP fire back. It's kind of rough into like Dragonite if rocks are not up, but apart from that, like it kind of cleanly one it KOs like most of the team. So it's not really got many bad matchups. It's weak to Scarfers, and that is kind of it. And it's weak to whatever like
yeah,
it's got the hidden power headache, right? So it comes down to which hidden power it doesn't have. And like, do you lose to Gliscor or do you lose to
Ferrothorn.
Scum?
yeah.
Yeah.
Ferrothorn.
Yeah, exactly. And
Exactly.
a lot of the scarfers that I suppose do kind of give it trouble, like your Landorus and your Excadrill. Skarmory's a great partner, right? It adds the spikes, but it also provides something into these, especially if it's carrying like a Rocky Helmet or something like that. So there's not a huge amount of risk when you're actually running it by not having Sash.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially Scarf Keldeo as well, which is usually a pretty good countermeasure versus Life Orb Zam. But
Mm.
a lot of these teams seem to be able to fit Jellison, whether that's on like a more Skarmory offense team or like more balanced structure.
Yeah. What do you guys think is like the weirdest thing picking up usage at the moment? I'm kind of surprised by like the amount of Conkeldurr.
Conkeldurr is a big one, yeah.
I
It seems
still think Conkel is a bit of a meme, personally.
Really?
I don't know, like if you have to literally
that's
have
what's
like
weird, right?
two healing wish Pokemon with it. Like I think it has upside, but I don't think it's like hugely consistent or I don't
Yeah.
know.
It
I
could
think
just be a flash in the pan.
yeah, I think it is a little bit. I still think it's probably like a B tier Pokemon or something. Like
Yeah.
I put it worse, like all the regen mons and stuff, and it's like okay, it's picking up a little bit, but it's really like screens offenses and healing wish stuff. And outside of that, I don't think it's like an option at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It depends, right? Because these I wouldn't call them like greedy sand structures, but the ones that are like very balanced, don't have spikes, things like that. If it's bulking up or it's ice punching, some of the spreads that people are using as well with the Spadef, you can throw so many resources at it and try killing it, and it will take up like two mons, and then it might just get healing wish back. So it is quite matchup reliant, but I think it does have a place at the moment.
Yeah, it's just a really good trader, right? Like
Mhm.
it's mental that like it sets up on like Gliscor, right? Like it can
Yeah,
like
that is
beat
crazy. Yeah.
online, which is kind of mental.
I think
Yeah,
oh,
it
sorry,
is
go
crazy. Yeah, that's basically I think it's like Conk as like a standalone mon, I don't think is very strong. Conk as part of this Pokemon wins a lot of like 1v1s hanging on by like 10%. So you just like bring it back two times and just get like
Yeah.
all the kills. Um, I think it's all right. I'm not a massive fan, but yeah, I can see why it's getting used, and I kind of see what it punishes.
Yeah.
I think another weird trend at the moment we're kind of starting to see is a lot more offensive Rotom sets. So
Mm.
whether that's
Yeah,
like hidden power fires, which is seen in SPL, or the and we're seeing a lot more scarf sets as well.
Yeah. A
Whether
lot
it's
of
just
this
like
ones.
trick bot with pain split, or just trick free attacks. So we're seeing quite a bit more offensive Rotom, which, if I'm being honest, I don't really understand at the moment.
yeah. I highlighted this one as well. I think it's a bit of a response to like Lum Ferrothorn, right?
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
that's certainly part of it. Like as soon as Ferrothorn started running Lum, all of a sudden, like you couldn't really lead Wisp Rotom into Rains very easily anymore.
Nah, you just get whipped.
Things like even Scythe Spam start running like Lum Ferrothorn, and
Yeah.
like it's like you just see it. You see it like everywhere all the time. I think offensive Ferrothorn generally is kind of pretty common. Yeah, I think it's largely a response to that. Also, like a response to a very like outdated response to Scizor still. So even up until probably like 6 months ago, you could run like Rotomart is meant to be good into like hyper offense stuff. Or like offense generally.
Yeah.
But then if it's like max speed adamant Scizor, like most Rotomosh will like lose to that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I just think like fast Tin Power Fire and stuff into like lead Ferrothorn or like
Yeah.
mid game Scizor stuff is like really potent.
Yeah.
And then the Scarf stuff, yeah, I think even like just again, we're talking about people kind of responding to like the fat metagame earlier in the year with like Reuniclus and Clefable and like Blissey and stuff. If you can just like put a trick immediately from Rotomosh and a Clef or a Blissey turn 1, your team is based around like Latios or Alakazam or something, like that's just immediately really strong. So it's like using trick in like a support way. Like
Yeah.
I really like those sets.
Yeah, I've used it quite a bit myself recently, especially when targeting people using the fatter stuff. It just feels so nice to have that speed control, hitting Gliscor really hard, and especially against like Clefable teams. I've said this before, like Clef is like your number one switch into Rotom. It normally happening, so if you could trick that straight away, it's quite uphill for those kind of teams to deal with the rest of the offensive threats as well.
Yeah.
It's
I
nice.
think
Yeah. Sorry, go on.
so another thing we're also seeing is how the hail builds are changing the direction they're going in.
Yeah,
During the SPL period, we saw a lot of people using these more bulky type of hails, like hail stools, which were basically like old school sand teams with Reuniclus, Latios, like common size spike structures. And now we're seeing them tend more towards hyper offense. So we're seeing a lot of Karen Black, a lot of Dragonite, Starmie, which I think is pretty smart, especially when they have a lot of priority. They seem to be really good into these sand structures, especially the Zam structures as well, because you've got Mamoswine, Dragonite, and a
yeah,
Abomasnow all sharding everything,
Yeah.
and taking leftovers away from steel types.
yeah, that's huge.
They're pretty strong at the moment.
Yeah, so Hail offense, you guys both know I'm like a big fan of at the minute. Like I think we're still trying to find like the most consistent teams.
Yeah.
I keep joking in our side server that I've made Peng
Peng
150.
hail.
Yeah,
My builder is literally just Abomasnow teams, like top to bottom. But yeah, I think we're still working out like hail stuff. So like choice specs Abomasnow is something that Monai was like massive on like 2 months ago, and everyone laughed at him. And then you actually try it and you go, actually, fuck yeah,
It's actually really good.
it's really good. Yeah. Like it's really click dependent against some stuff, but like it's kind of a cheat code. It's a bit like Specs Polytoad in that you just turn your Weather Setter into your Wall Breaker, and you don't need to like worry about getting a Keldeo in, so you can like diversify more away from like stacking water types. And it's the same with Abomasnow. Like if Abomasnow is your Specs Blizzard user, you don't need to have Kyurem or something. Yeah, and against like no ice teams, so you just like fucking lead Abomasnow and click Blizzard six
yeah,
times, right?
yeah,
It's
that's
also
true.
really good as well because you don't need the speed investment, so you can almost always just win the Weather War on turn one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Especially into rain, like into rain, you can kind of just lead a bomber slow, just click whatever, and you're
Yeah.
always leading from it.
Yeah,
Yeah. So my thing with Hail offense is I think we're always still like learning the game, and sometimes we have like massive blind spots, and it takes like a ban of something to actually us to realize how bad we are at team building and that we're missing things. So this happened years ago with like Breloom, right? Breloom was like pretty good but not amazing.
hmm
But like we thought sleep was broken, so we banned sleep. And then Breloom actually got better after sleep because people realized that like Swords Dance with 2 attacks, not just like support sets, were
yeah,
like fucking broken. Like Swords Dance, Drain Punch, and stuff like immediately became like metagame dominant. We had like a year of Breloom being like one of the best wall breakers, despite getting nerfed, right?
yeah,
And I feel this kind of happened this year. So this time last year, people were trying hail and stuff, right? Like how you had a hail team with like 3 ice types.
yeah.
Yeah,
That
Okay.
team
three
went
You had
ice,
hardcore.
three dragon types.
I was,
Yeah, so you had it was a Bomber Snow,
Yeah.
Stealth Rock, Jirachi, Sheltman,
Latios, Scarf
yeah,
Garchomp, uh,
Upkieran.
Cloyster,
Oh
and
no,
Kyrie.
fucking
Yeah,
Cloyster.
exactly. Yeah, and I think that's a perfect example of something where we overthought that archetype. Like everyone was doing Cloyster on it. Like even the old X-Cal one with like Scarf Salamence that had Cloyster on it. That was like another triple ice with Mamoswine.
Yeah.
And actually, Cloyster getting banned, immediately people go, I'll just swap Cloyster with Starmie.
Mhm.
And I think that actually makes those teams like so much better.
Yeah.
Mm,
I,
I'm
I
not
think
sure. I
maybe
think
just
a
it's,
lot
it's
of
a
these
little bit
teams are
more
down weak.
consistent, right?
I just think that they're so much more like defensively sound with the Star. I just think Air Balloon Storm is really good right now. And I think people putting that on Hail now to try and get over the loss of Cloyster. Because you need spin with Abomasnow Snow and all these dragons, right?
Mhm.
I think as soon as we put Starmie on it, we just go, we probably should have been doing this from the beginning. Like, Cloyster's always a bit, like, fishy. Like, it's obviously it's fucking busted. Also, like, it's a really inconsistent mon. And as soon as you put in Starmie, who is, like, the most consistent guy ever, all
Yeah.
of a sudden, these teams actually feel, like, so much more playable. That's my kind of thing anyway. I didn't like Hail this time last year when we were using Cloyster, and now we use Starmie on it. I'm like, this actually just finally makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's nice.
Oh,
And
yeah, sorry, when you go.
no, I was just gonna say I like one of the. I don't really know if it's an innovation on Hail, but HP Fire Starmie. That's probably quite on trend at the moment as well, isn't it? With the Hail
Yeah,
stuff.
Yeah.
that's trending
Yeah.
pretty much at the moment. I mean, we're even seeing it on Sand.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, it just solves a lot of issues. Like Starmie's issue has always been it doesn't spin against Ferrothorn,
Yeah.
and that's why people have kind of avoided it on Sand teams, and it just makes sense. Pin Power Fire again, something we probably should have worked out sooner. That's kind of a fakes thing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, your water types hitting Ferrothorn on the switch in, your water types beating Scizor. This is all important stuff, right?
Yeah. Fakes was one of the first people I noticed because we were talking about offensive Rotom earlier, using the HP Fire stuff as well. So he's
Yeah.
done quite a bit of innovation this year, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One other thing I wanted to mention just quickly was Nasty Plot Celebi kind of making a bit of a
Of
comeback.
course, yeah.
That's a big one.
So I think this is one of like the underrated ways that teams have adapted to Reuniclus. So one of the ways you can like beat Reuniclus is having your own like boosting Pokemon that just beat it or like accelerate faster when they boost. So like one of the best ways you used to beat Reuniclus was you paralyze it and then Calm Mind with your own Reuniclus.
Yeah.
Because
Fun
you
times.
get stronger faster over the turns. And then you outspeed and you've got the chance to like fish with paralysis, you just win. Nasty Plot Celebi is kind of the same thing. Like it just actually gets to +6 faster than Reuniclus does and just Leaf Storms it or like Giga Drains it.
Yeah.
It's just a really easy way for Sand teams that already have Celebi. Celebi's not got many good sets, right? Like Stealth Rock is like pretty bad.
Yeah.
Sub Pass you don't always need. You can run like Thunder Wave support stuff, but it doesn't always fit. Really, you're trying to get Celebi in for like the defensive typing alone, and you kind of more being like, all right, how do I not make this mon like complete dog shit?
Yeah.
Like Nasty Plots is a really way of getting that in, and also having some metagame value because it
Yeah.
like absolutely destroys a lot of the kind of fat Sands teams. The innovation, like Nasty Plot Celebi has always kind of been around. The innovation we're seeing now is that it goes timid, so it's faster than Landorus
Yeah.
T.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it enables Excadrill really well.
Yeah. And
Yeah, so you
even
want
the
to use
Leaf Storm can one-shot Tito after rocks, right? At +2.
Yeah,
With
exactly.
some
That's pretty
investment, but
crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, so now you're starting to look at something like a really standard sand core of like Tyranitar, Landorus, Excadrill, and a water, Keldeo or Rotom or something.
Mhm.
That's immediately like so bad against Nasty Plot Celebi.
Yeah.
Just a really, really smart set.
Yeah.
I really like that innovation.
Yeah,
It also
compacting
really
it well.
punishes the Scarf Latios as well. Because
Yeah.
usually a lot of these teams' checks are already just Scarf Latios. It's got to lock into Draco to do that.
Yeah.
It's instantly Tyrannosaurus is coming in, pursuit trapping it.
Yeah.
It just makes a lot of these really standard structures like Celebi's makes them really hard to deal with.
Yeah. I think the only time I feel like it loses out is it's a set that should be really good against opposing Reigns. But because you have to run so much speed to beat Landorus, it's now
Yeah.
not really like a Specs Keldeo switch in, which has always been Celebi's classic. Did I say Specs Keldeo? That's what I said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's now immediately it's not that good against Specs Keldeo and like Thunderous, right? It loses out there.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
also, if you're picking Ice over Fire, which most teams probably are currently, like Scizor on Rain and stuff, you actually can't do anything against it because you can't run Nasty Plot with Baton Pass.
Yeah.
As soon as they see Nasty Plot, like Scizor is the easiest switch in the world.
Yeah.
It's the easiest suit. Like you can do nothing against Scizor, but that's kind of niche. Like you're not really seeing Scizor Sand, and then on hyper offense, like Celebi's kind of useless there anyway. So
Yeah. It's
yeah.
probably benefiting from the lack of Specs Keldeo knocking about as well. Because I remember like 6 months ago when we were saying it seemed like there was like Clefable, Reuniclus, Bronzong shit everywhere. It's like, why is no one using Specs Keldeo? And it's like now these Celebi sets are popping up and people still aren't really using it as much. So it makes you wonder when that's gonna make a comeback.
Yeah.
I still think that Choice Specs Keldeo's best use is probably still on Sand.
Really?
I feel like Rain is really punished at the moment in the current meta. Like Life Orb Zam like kind of just destroys everything on Rain.
Hmm.
And I think Keldeo really, really appreciates the fact that Psychic types can get pursuit tracked by Tyranitar. Opens it up really nicely.
Yeah.
I mean, taking the 6% every turn isn't like great, but
No,
I
it
think
does
it's
kind of suck. Yeah.
I think it's still worth the trade off using it on Sand rather than Rain.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
the thing with Rain at the moment, what I'm noticing more as well, is Scarf Jirachi, just because they're identifying that Alakazam weakness, and it does kind of seem to shore it up a little bit. You can pair it in conjunction with like other priority users like D-Knight and Mama, but
Yeah.
that seems to
Yeah.
be what Rain's up to right now, right? Mitigating the Zam issues.
Yeah. I think that kind of comes down to it. That's for me. That's a bit of another. It's Healing Wish, right? I think Healing Wish on
Hmm.
Rain teams is actually really,
Yeah.
really strong. Last Invitational, I ran a team which was like just the big Rain 6, but it was Healing Wish, Scarf Latias instead of like the normal Scarf Latios. So
That's
it was
interesting.
Poly, Tenta. It was Calm Mind Keldeo and then Double Dance Thunderous, with the Scarf Healing Wish Thunderous, Latias. And that felt like really, really good. Like, yeah, this Scarf Jirachi variations of it feels like far better than that. Like Jirachi's a Scarf is like you don't feel like you're losing out by having Scarf on Jirachi.
It
It's
loves having a
obviously
scarf. Yeah.
Yeah, loves having a scar.
it's really good into to Alakazam. Obviously, getting a second Steel type on Rain is just really useful. And yeah, and then like Healing Wish again. Thunderous has got like almost like Conkeldurr vibes in terms of it's so good at like trading with things, but like barely living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like one of like the lines that I really like with early game Thunderous is like, unless it specs Latios, it can't one hit KO you.
Hmm.
So you can just sit and actually take a Meteor and just kill it with Hidden Power Ice. And then in most games that's kind of bad because then your Thunderous is like at like 5% or something. But with Healing Wish in the back, like just making that play with Thunderous early in the game, you actually can't use Latios into that line at all. I think Thunderous is like like an amazing Healing Wish recipient, and then Politoed too, like just getting the Weather War win by trading down Politoed and then bringing it back in the end game is like that wins games too.
Yeah. There's so many targets for it, and you can keep momentum. Like in some games, you might even find yourself healing wishing just to like completely reposition, even if the mob's
Yeah,
healthy. It's nice in a
yeah,
pinch.
yeah. Can I
Yeah,
mention one last one and then we move on?
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. I think we need to talk about Life Orb or Corona.
Yeah,
Oh
I was
god,
actually just
yeah.
looking at the tier list, and I
Oh
was like,
god,
did we
yeah.
mention it? Is it getting enough use? This thing's
um,
crazy, right?
yeah, it is. So just for context, like classically, the Volcarona set has kind of been like Lumberry and timid, and I still think that's like the most consistent Volcarona at actually like winning games
Hmm.
by itself. But there's matchups where it's simply not strong enough. So it needs chip on T-Tar, it needs chip on stuff like Garchomp and things, Um, it's like it's not amazingly strong at +1. It doesn't beat, Clefable that easily. Actually, no, that's a lie. It does, but it's kind of limited by like its
The calcs
lack of
versus
media.
Clefable are crazy with Life Orb.
Yeah,
Doesn't it
exactly.
one
So
shot with Life Orb Fire Blast
It
plus
does
one?
99 on a max roll.
yeah,
Modest.
yeah. So people have just realized that you can just run like modest with Life Orb, but that the speed's actually not that important.
Mhm.
Because the thing is, like Volcarona can just bluff like every item
Yeah,
and
I was
every
about to say that. Yeah.
Yeah,
like you just test your opponent's patience. Like you can just like go Volcarona on like Clefable or something. Like you can actually do this and
yeah,
just bluff being Lumberry, force them to go out into Hippowdon, and you actually get free Quiver Dance, and you just win on the spot.
yeah.
Um,
Fire Blast is a roll to kill at +1
yeah,
on
exactly.
Hippo.
It's like the only way they win there is to actually stay in. Assume you're not going to be Lumberry in T-Wave, but if they do that, they lose to the Lumberry set, and there's just loads of situations like this. So I don't think Life Orb is like hugely consistent. But the fact it when it KOs literally like the bulkiest of Tyranitar at +1,
Yeah,
uh, just the rolls are absolutely mental.
yeah. And
Yeah,
these traditional sand teams, they're normally relying on T-Tar as the sole Volt
yeah,
check. So
yeah,
once you've got Rockstar, you're at +1, you've bug buzzed it, they expect to live, Rock Slide, T-Wave, whatever, it's dead. And then it's like, where do we go from here? The whole team's dead.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's quite crazy. I
I
still
mean,
think it could get looked at again. I don't know. Maybe it needs to do more. Who knows?
I mean, even versus like these traditional like psychic structures, Life Orb Volcarona doesn't even like need the Quiver Dance in a lot of the games.
Hmm.
It can kind of
Yeah,
just click buttons and it just works.
Yeah, and you can
yeah,
also pair it
that's
with Giga Drain, and then like Jellicent's not an issue. Keldeo
Yeah.
gets one shot
yeah,
with Life Orb. It's pretty
yeah.
insane.
Yeah, I think the Giga Drain Life Orb synergy is actually really good. Like the healing that you get back on something like, you kill a Keldeo and you're back, you've gone from like 40 to 60% again, and all of a sudden you're
Yeah.
actually like your opponent who was counting down turns really intricately to work out which time you're gonna die has to now account for like 3 more turns of Life Orb, and it's like,
Yeah,
okay,
can
I'm
they even
fucked.
last
You
those
can't
last
do
3
anything.
turns? Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, it's
um,
ridiculous,
that
man.
that that set is really good. I
Yeah,
think what sorry, one last trend, but it links into Life of Volcarona.
uh-huh.
It's I think the one limitation of Life of Volcarona is that we're seeing an uptick of Scarf Drill again, and
Yeah,
Scarf Drill actually like
Yeah.
beats +1 Volk. That's the only real downside of Life of Volcarona right now. The
yeah.
other Scarfers I don't think really matter, but the fact that Scarf Drill is kind of back again thanks to fakes, that's the one thing that would put me off running like a
That
modest Volk.
bastard
Uh,
fakes.
yeah.
But yeah,
uh,
no, that makes sense. But I think we're modest. Can't you go 299? Because I feel like a lot of Excadrills, they're greed and adamant, right?
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, all the Scarf Drills are screwed in Adamant.
Yeah, so.
Well, yeah, but you'd run Jolly Scarf Drill for. It's basically for Volk and for other drill, right?
Yeah, but
That's,
you're running it alongside T-Tar a lot of the time, so subconsciously you do feel kind of safe into Volcarona, but then
yeah,
yeah, it gets blown
yeah.
up by Bug Buzz, right? And then your Excadone outspeed,
No,
so
I mean, you
it's a
should
tricky
if
one.
you've got Adamant Scarf Drill and wait, no, you generally should be able to cover off both sets if you do that.
Hmm.
Either the
Yeah.
Volcarona is modest and Life Orb and your drill beats it, or it's timid and your T-Tar beats it,
Yeah,
right?
it's
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I feel like we did have to mention Scarf Drill. That thing is going crazy at the minute.
yeah, yeah. Right. Do you think we're done for
Yeah, I'm
metagame?
about to say, educate me, boys.
Yeah,
We need
no,
a lovely segue. Having recently learned that segue is not actually spelled SEGWAY.
can you believe that? I could not get over that.
Yeah, I thought it spelled the name as the. I thought it was spelled the same as the what's it called company, that like wheelie thing company.
Yeah.
No, it's
Oh, yeah, the one you're on about.
just an elaborate pun. But anyway, yeah, our segue for this week is MeEsSm sends me loads of clips on Instagram of an early 2000s British TV show called Robot Wars, and we've decided to educate Cal on what Robot Wars is.
Yeah,
Have you got a video up?
Yes, please. I need to
I
know.
need to get a video up. Let me get YouTube up right now. I'm
I think I
still
do know
trying to
what it
work out
is.
this OBS thing. I'm actually terrible with it. Hang on.
I think I do know what it is, but I think it was a bit before my time.
What do you know about it?
Don't people make like these robots and they just
Yeah.
scrap? That was literally just there.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, no, so
It's it's like yeah, yeah, yeah. You go. You'll know better than I will.
it's literally
You'll
crazy, right? I'll get some clips up in a bit, but just it because you'd have some geezers that would literally completely try hard it and spend like 3 grand on a robot, and it might have like a massive spinning disc and it just smashes the absolute bollocks out of other stuff. And then you've got like little Timmy and his school who have like saved up money to try put a robot together, and then these virgins just come in with this massive robot and just fucking smash
Yeah,
the shit out of it. Like, it was a
yeah,
cultural phenomenon, really.
yeah. But it literally is that. It's like some kid trying to connect with like his his stepdad or something by building a robot in their shed, and they come up against like the full University of Oxford engineering department building a fucking murder machine. It's absolutely iconic. Yeah, it's this massive. What TV channel was it? Was it on
It
Sky?
was, I think it was BBC.
The BBC.
Yeah,
Uh,
It was on BBC. Yeah.
yeah,
yeah.
was it? But it's commentated by a For me, he's most famous for being the guy that commentates Robot Wars. Is Craig Charles? But
Oh
like
yeah.
for the
No, the
yeah,
guy who commentates it, what's his name? Is it Jonathan Pierce or something like that? Because
it is.
yeah,
Yeah, it
because I
is.
remember
Yeah,
watching, because I loved Robot Wars so much as a kid. I like watched Match of the Day, and I was like, wait, this guy talking about football, he's the Robot Wars commentator.
yeah,
And it was literally crazy. And I don't know how niche it was, but I feel like every British person, at least in like their mid to late 20s, kind of knows it, you know?
yeah, yeah. The entire thing is just absolutely insane. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's just fully like anyone can sign up and like submit their shitty little scrap
Box.
pile.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
literally what's showing on the screen right now. It's just some fucking massive blade just coming in and ripping the flipper off this poor robot. He can
Yeah.
hardly move. But
Like it's a full knockout competition, right?
yeah, I think
Like
it
trophies
was
and
double a limb or something.
yeah,
Had like a
yeah,
melee at the start, but yeah, people took it
yeah,
like pretty
yeah,
serious.
yeah. But the format's also wild, right? Because it's not just those two robots against each other. There's a button in the room where you can like tag in like a house robot, right?
How it works is they have these. It's say like it's a square, right? And you have these house robots, and they're like in the patrol zone, and they are probably like 2 or 3 times the size of the other ones. And there's 2 ways they get involved. It's either you push them in there into the corner, and they have a go at your opponent, or little Timmy's tiny little robot has stopped working because it's been had the shit beaten out of it, and then they all look. You're seeing it now on the screen. They all just come in and just start fucking it up, like it's a fucking
But it's
Sir Kill-a-Lot.
yeah, but you know what it's like? It's literally like having like an amateur boxing fight, and then in each corner you've got like Mike Tyson, and then three other
That
fucking
is a good way to put it. I'm
heavyweight
picturing it now.
yeah. As soon as you go near the corner, you get fucking battered. It's so mental.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
so sad it got cancelled because I remember they tried to reboot it. What was it, like 8 or 9 years ago, something like that, and it just did not hit the
Gyro.
same.
Yeah.
Uh, and
Oh.
the worst thing about it was what's his name, Craig Charles. He was the guy who presented it, wasn't it? Is that his name?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He, I'm not sure if this is true, but like, obviously you idolize people like this when you're a kid. They're the presenter of the show you love. Didn't he get found with like a load of prostitutes and drugs or something and get like absolutely
He's a
cancelled?
massive cokehead. Yeah, he's a massive cokehead.
Sounds like someone I
Yeah.
know.
UK's finest, mate.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right. Is there anything else to say on Robot Wars? Need to watch that again. It's just
Yeah.
absolutely iconic.
No,
I need to watch it for the first time.
mate, it's all on YouTube for free.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm currently watching Robot Wars Series 5 Most Destructive Battles, 1.6 million views, so it's still got a bit of a following, I suppose.
Yeah.
Have you been watching it all week?
No, but do you know what it is? Americans do something similar called battle bots, and that
I've
kind
heard
of
about
come,
that.
yeah, that comes up on my algorithm a bit. And since Robot Wars, the UK one, it's probably was shot like 20 years ago, and it was like, whoa, this thing's got a big wheel. Then you watch the American one, and it's like, okay, this motherfucker's literally like cut another robot in half. What the fuck is this? Let me send it a ping. Like the 20 years of advancement is like literally mental.
Yeah.
Let me send it to Peng.
Yeah.
Like literally, that's my Instagram reels section. It's just we've heard you like Robot Wars. Cheers, Mason.
Yeah, literally. Mention one thing you like, you're getting a load of reels about it.
Yeah. Oh dear. Right, we need to think about more stuff to have for the UK section. I think
Yeah,
Robot Wars was the obvious.
Yeah.
I think true crime is an absolute winner. We like unsolved
Oh,
British
yeah.
crime.
Like
we've got a
unsolved
couple.
British crime just hits different. Like that Jay Slater thing actually had a conclusion. If it didn't have a conclusion, it's like, you know, in the top 10
Oh,
British
did
crime
it?
moments because you're
I,
just
I think
always
I think if
wondering what happened.
I think when we know what happens, it's in bad taste to do an episode on it.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Madeleine McCann on the other hand, get ready.
That's, I think when we get AC on, Hot Fuzz is the obvious one.
Yeah, I'm totally with
That's,
that.
yeah. Right, should we tie that up and move on to some more black and white chat?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
I
move on to
think I think I'm
Black
gonna
Lives
keep Robot Wars just running in the background though, so people can
Yeah.
educate
Matter.
themselves.
I might stick it on.
Yeah. So for the last section, and just to give it just do 15 minutes, so maybe that takes us to about an hour.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Who do you think the best nation is at black and white?
Oh,
Oh,
Do a purely black and white World Cup, like 5 slots per team.
5 slot. Are we putting the US in one, or are they gonna go like US East, US West, whatever?
We'll put the US in one, but only because I actually don't know where everyone's from.
yeah, no, neither.
Yeah, no, that's true. Like that someone will say they're from like Ohio or something. Fuck knows where that is. That's the same as New York to me. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
same.
yeah,
So I think the USA is probably like a powerhouse. It
yeah,
has Finch, ABR, it has Dice, who are
Yeah.
like top 5, right?
yeah.
Yeah, easily.
I'm not sure who else would fit in there. Like Crucify. I don't know who else is. Sensei Axu, is he? Sorry, Finnico there. Is he?
Yeah.
Go there.
Oh, that name change. Yeah, they've even got Monai on the bench. Crazy.
Yeah, true.
Where he's gonna
Yeah,
stay.
Mono's not like making the starting lineup. Mono's so washed.
I was saying this earlier. I hope I
We're,
don't lose
we're
to him
we're
tomorrow
calling some
now.
US players washed. I don't know what kind of state UK's in at the minute if it were to go to a World Cup.
Okay, so let's do the UK then. I think UK is actually kind of stacked.
We're pretty good.
I think we're like, you know how France and Belgium was, where there's a lot of like young players with potential and things like that, but not
The
quite
team
established. Like
don't
one to
gel.
look out for in the future.
Yeah,
Who's the UK? Who's the best UK black and white player right now?
probably Mars.
Yeah, it would be Mars.
Mars
Yeah.
or yeah. I think the 5 would be Mars, U2,
You. Just slap you in there anyway.
possibly.
Peng's at the wheel, mate. He's our Gareth
Hey, yeah,
Southgate.
go on, die.
Uh,
Fucking tackle.
and Sergio Aguero.
Oh,
Sergio
Sergio
Probably.
Aguero, of
Aguero.
course,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a good one.
Can't even get black and white names these days. Got to nick them from all else.
Yeah, exactly.
For the
Yeah.
non-smoke on users, Sergio Aguero is a player, not a football player.
How many players has Spain got? Because obviously they've got Solwind,
They
right?
got
I
Solwind.
don't know who else they've got unless you could just have
Is
5 Solwinds.
They have
is
Solid.
Malorian from Spain?
No, he's South American, right?
Oh God, that's bad. That's
Spain
poor
have
for
M
me.
Dragon.
Oh, yeah,
And
that's a good
Dragon.
one.
Spain have. Oh, they had someone else good I thought of earlier. Oh, it'll come back to me. Malekith is Spanish,
Oh wow, okay.
Oh, I didn't know
I
that.
think. So Spain's got a pretty good first 3. I don't know who would close it out for them. Italy's decent.
Italy's solid, yeah. Luck over
Oh,
skill
yeah,
at the
it's
wheel.
luck over
Yeah,
skill.
Riser as well.
Yeah.
I think France would be pretty good as well.
Le
They've
Choca.
got Les Choca.
Yeah.
Wait 2
Oh,
seconds.
wait 2
He's
seconds.
really strong.
He's a really good player.
Yeah.
48 as well.
Yeah,
48.
48 strong.
Get a Blazing Dark mention in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's having a crack in black and
He's
white
having a
PL,
really
isn't it?
good
Was he like
season.
6-0 right now?
6-0. Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy. Absolutely insane. Absolutely do it.
Yeah.
My preps are really good for him, so no surprise.
How does he do
Yeah.
it?
I think Brazil is actually really is actually really stacked as
Brazil
well.
could be strong, so you got like what? Rua, Eladin.
Leo
Ladin,
Perry.
Leo Perry, Dr. Caetano.
If he came back, yeah.
That's
If
how we get him back.
I think if he knew there was a world championship on the line, he would be there out of
Yeah.
retirement.
That's the thing with being the new wave players. We don't know the legends.
No.
Our first year on Smogon's coming up soon, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like
God,
officially
what a
1 year.
mistake. But I suppose is US just the strongest then? That really pains me to say that.
I think Germany's actually up there too. If Germany can bypass like the ghosting rumors, Germany is like.
I suppose
Like,
you got
obviously
Fates
fakes.
obviously is like
They've
the
got
best current
fakes and then
black and
4 of the
white.
same player in one slot.
Yeah, I don't mean fakes in the ghosting thing. He's not involved in that.
Yeah,
But
no.
like, there's then a lot of German players that I'm very suspicious of, or have confirmed to me aren't actually
Yeah.
playing the rest. But at least one of those guys who is banned is obviously a fucking elite black and white player.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the ghosting ring wouldn't work.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Like Germany are actually also decent. I think it's pretty categorically USA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
AB
it's like
Dice, Finch.
yeah, the top three are probably like France.
I feel like we're forgetting some like Italian and Spanish players, like definitely.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't
Trying
know,
to think.
maybe like we're gonna have to put together a Team Europe or something to deal with this American menace that's emerging.
Yeah.
Got to form a coalition.
Yeah. The thing I always think is it's like 6v6 singles is not a thing at all in Japan. Like the Japanese just play like the official formats.
Bizarre, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. But if they played like Smogon, like they'd probably be like incredible. Like they've
Yeah.
been innovating like VGC. They've been like the forerunners in VGC for like
Yeah.
the
Oh, yeah.
beginning.
There's that quote in
They,
the esports world, isn't it? It's like no matter how good you believe you are at a game, there's always a South Korean better than you or something. Like
yeah. Yeah.
It's
But like
always
but
good.
those communities just aren't involved at all in Smogon stuff.
yeah.
Always that unanswered question of like how good they'd be. But there is always that amazing fact that I heard is that back in Diamond and Pearl, Japan did used to actually have their own like fan run 6v6 format. It doesn't really exist anymore.
Hmm.
But they had Garchomp allowed, but they thought Heracross was broken, which I always find hilarious.
That's strange.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
Incredible.
Meta games change.
It's
So we
weird
say
how
in US.
metagames are, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's probably US. Like, you know, ABR Finch are just they're a lot better than some of
They're a
the
lot better than
European
us.
competition. Yeah, well, UK's getting smoked, but we'll give them a good go.
We'll give them a go. Yeah.
I think my top three are US, Spain, and France.
Yeah, I don't think I can disagree.
Oh,
Maybe
France
Germany as
and
well.
US above us. This ain't right. We got to get the UK scene going. This ain't acceptable.
We're on our come
Yeah.
up.
What's your
Actually,
like
space in
the
2 years?
yeah. The UK's got like a deep pool, but like no one like elite. You know
World
what I mean?
class.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just 11 Michael Carricks.
Yeah, like Mars is our best guy. Mars is good, but like he's also not getting FSPL drafted like the last 3 years. And he should be there, but like you compare that to like the best guy in the other teams, and you go, okay, actually,
Yeah,
Actually,
they don't even need to like
yeah.
lift a
Brazil's
finger.
got 2 FSPLs. You know, like yeah.
Uh,
Uh,
oh well, this might be the year. Need to see Marsden back in SPL in my lifetime.
yeah, we do.
yeah, I think all of you guys need to actually talk to people and make it known you want to play. Part of the issue is just getting your name out.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
I don't know.
And we still
I think
got
we've had a good first year. Like we've managed to compete. Like me and Cal, Royal PL, Black and White PL. I managed to worm my way into Invitational main. So
I got locked in invitational play-ins.
all right, mate.
I'm only trolling. I'm only trolling. But
Yeah,
no, I
MeEsSm
think
just
we have had really good years. Like first year on Smogon for both of us, I think
yeah,
it's been pretty successful.
yeah. No, it's been
yeah.
good. What was you gonna say, Peng?
Did Cal ever tell you about the time he didn't lose a game for 6 weeks?
Oh, that's so
As
cursed.
soon as I said that in the chat, I swear to God, I went on like a 2-month streak of just not
Yeah,
winning.
Geezer links a game inside chord, loses, Peng,
Is
pings cow. Thought you hadn't lost in 6 weeks, mate.
I've never spoke about a win streak again after that.
Man,
Nope,
love a bit
not
of shit
happening.
house for it. Mate, there's so much good robot wars going on in the background. Oh, shame you guys can't see it.
I'll get to see it
Yeah.
on the video when I watch it back. Don't worry.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, exactly. Is it Hypno Disc?
No, it's Terahertz getting knocked into the pit by Shunt at the minute. It's got its axe stuck in it. Oh, Shunt's in the pit. Fuck. Yeah,
Oh dear.
yeah.
Yeah, I think you guys have had really good first years. To even be like in the SPL conversation, only playing 12 months is pretty impressive.
Appreciate it.
And yeah,
Yeah,
I
thanks.
hope at least a couple of you two and Mars actually get drafted and get some games. It'd be good to have some Brits back in there again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, needed.
Yeah. All right, should we wrap it there? That's
I
been
might
about
say
Yeah,
that. It's good. Call it
yeah,
now.
no,
just
Cool.
absolutely.
Thanks
yeah.
for having me on as a guest, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, don't forget to thank yourself for the opportunity.
I'll thank myself for the opportunity again.
Yeah, all right. Peace out, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah,
See ya.
thank you.